Hey everybody, Arnaldo Woffman here. And one of the things that I enjoy every year is doing the DJ Expo, the DJ Times Convention in Atlantic City. But the showroom is always really loud. It seems that it doesn't matter if you're a speaker manufacturer, if you're just selling t-shirts, you're cranking up music. Even if you're not a dealer of any kind, you're still cranking up music. So after a while in that showroom, it really becomes a lot of white noise. And there's only 2 or 3 speaker companies that when they cranked up their sound, it would cut through all that. One of those companies was Yamaha. And part of the reason of that is a new DXS18 Sub. This thing is a beast. Let's take a look real quick, see the ins and outs of it, some of the features, and why I love this sub, why you're gonna love it too. And yeah, let's go. So right off the bat, you're going to notice that this thing, not very big, right? I can fit 2 of these in my Kia Soul, or I can fit 1 of these and 2 of the DXS or DXR15s and a controller. So it's really nice that they made something small, portable, but still an 18-inch sub. Now, one of the things that you'll notice right away is it does not have casters. Part of the reason it doesn't have casters is, well, because after a while, casters get really annoying. When you're cranking up that bass and you hear the bzzz, bzzz, bzzz with the casters, you're like, damn it, and you start taping down casters. If you ever have a high-powered subwoofer and you have casters, you know exactly what I mean. You just gaffer the heck out of it. So they got rid of that. But if you have to have casters, they do sell the casters. There's already the holes in there. You just mount them in and you're good to go. But trust me, you're actually going to think of in the long run for not having casters. Now let's go past that. Real durable Line X coating. Now what this means is that you could sit there and scuff the heck out of it, and I do not have a case for these yet. Honestly, most of the subs aren't even cased because I jump on them, people grind on them, wedding guests, you know, decide to use that so they can take selfies or step on, whatever the case may be. But the Line X coating, super durable, really easy to clean in case somebody, you know, spills anything on it. And the most peculiar thing about it, I'm sure you've noticed, is right here in the front, okay? This is not your typical sub. This is a bandpass design. Now, if you don't understand how bandpass works, honestly, I want to skip through that. I'll do a video on that later on. But let me tell you my first worry when I first heard it was a bandpass. I've done a lot of car audio. I'm still obsessed with car audio. And bandpass designs, bandpass boxes were known for one thing, and that's big, boomy sound at a certain range of frequencies. The other frequencies, it either sounds or okay, it doesn't sound that good. So that was the first thing. It's like, okay, well, how can this thing really sound? And not just for school dances, but for weddings, rental, production. I need something that sounds good all the way across the board. So I had a chance to listen to it, different things, everything from Lil Jon to Andrea Bocelli, okay? And for my Latinos out there, Raul de Blasio. Now, what I got is that didn't matter what I play, it reproduced every single bass note beautifully. When I ran a, you know, sine wave test through it, those higher notes that you wouldn't really expect an 18 to hit, it hit them. And it didn't, you know, punch out or anything like that. But the lower notes, and this is what was really interesting, and it's a very unique sound. The lower notes, once they got to those really low guttural notes, it didn't bottom out. And possibly part of the reason why it didn't bottom out is because of that 4-inch voice coil that's in this guy. But it just did not just bottom out. It went to a point that you didn't hear the brr anymore, but you felt it, right? You could actually feel the hairs on your arm stand up, and you could feel your glasses shake and your heart just falling out of its chest cavity. It was really nice. I had 2 of these side by side for a school bands, and I was really surprised. Again, when I see something of this size, I'm usually a little bit skeptical. I'm like, okay, how loud can it really get? It got pretty loud. The Yamaha DXS18, very similar to the DXR series, was developed in conjunction with Nexo. If you guys are not familiar with Nexo, they make the line arrays, really nice subs, some high-end stuff. And they took all that engineering power and made it to something that's affordable, that sounds good, has good volume. Now, this isn't the lightest thing in the world. I mean, yeah, one person could carry it if you wanted to. When you first pick them, you're like, oh, it's kind of heavy. I've said it once, and I'll say it again, and again, and again, and again. When it comes to subwoofers, you get to pick 2 things, 2 out of 3. You get to pick lightweight, affordable, and sounds good. So which 2 do you choose? I personally choose affordable and sounds good. Why affordable? Well, because I want to get more than just 1, more than just 2. I want to get several, plus redundancy. And in reality, I urge most people, look, pick those two. Don't worry about weight. You can have somebody else. There's carts. There's multiple ways of doing it. Now, this isn't insanely heavy, but it's not, again, you know, some little lightweight tiny thing. It's definitely not the 12-inch version of this, okay? This is an 18-inch, and even for an 18-inch sub, it's still pretty lightweight, but some people think it's too heavy. Whatever. Honestly, I don't even pay attention to that anymore. Okay, so how does it sound? Well, as I said already, I've run a sine wave test through it. The upper notes sounded really nice, punchy, smooth. Bottom notes were shaking, you know, stuff off the bleacher, stuff that we didn't know was there. You know, and obviously that's important for a sub. But whenever you're playing non-school dance music, you know, meaning non-EDM or non-rap, whatever, if you're actually just playing just regular background music for a wedding, if you're playing it at a low volume, do you still get that punchiness? And the answer is yes. If you're playing this at a low volume, you still feel that bass, but it's not too much. And if you happen to use this with the DSR 115s, oh man, it's like a whole new experience. And that's pretty much what this thing was designed for. Yamaha wanted to design a subwoofer that would keep up with the DSR 115. Look, if you've not used the DSR 115, this thing gets loud, okay? I'm trying to find a good amount of subs that can keep up with this thing, because this thing can get stupid loud. This thing sounds perfect with it. So now, let's go ahead and actually turn it around so you guys can see some of the features in the back. See how it all works together. Yamaha really thought this out about making this not just for mobile DJs, but even for production, for monitoring, for rentals, whatever the case may be. Check out the back panel. This is the back of the sub. I'm not going to show you the IEC or the on button because, I mean, seriously, anybody that's doing that in their review, just bah. Okay, so you guys know where the IEC is. But check this out, right? We've got inputs and we've got outputs. Okay, and then of course we have our level, and we've got infinity to plus 10, but a whole bunch of different options here, right? First of all, we've got our through and our HPF post. Now this high pass post, basically the high pass filter here, what this does is you set everything the way you want it to, and it's gonna set it out here. So what you would do is, if you, let's say you're using the DSR 115s, you run them on full, and you have this on HPF. So that way there's not going to be any missing frequencies. This is going to do all the work for you. So I would, let's say for example, set my crossover to 100 hertz or even 80, especially if you're using the DSR 115. I would say set it at 80 because higher than that, and that DSR does a really nice job. And then of course you have a normal, you have a boost and extended low filter there. All right. You've got your polarity, so you can invert it if you need to. You can disable your LED, and we have Cardioid. Man, I have a hard time pronouncing that word. And I've done a couple videos on this before, but Cardioid is a really cool feature where you gotta have at least two of these. You can't just do it with one. You gotta have two of them. 3, 4, you know, the more the better. One of these subs, you're gonna turn it around and you hit the Cardioid mode. And basically, instead of being omnidirectional like all bases, so let's pretend right here is the stage, okay, and you're right here, and over here is the air wall, and you have a wedding over here. And I've had this happen before. And the hotel manager's like, oh, you've got a wedding behind you, keep your bass down. I just set on Cardioid mode, and all the bass back here is suddenly gone. If I'm doing a concert and we're trying not to shake the whole stage, I'll bring the subs a little bit further out, and that way when I hit the Cardioid, you don't hear the bass over here, except for the monitor system. It's a really nice thing to have, and again, you gotta have more than just one. You can't just do it with one. You know, you can do it with 2. I recommend doing it with 3. So 2 are acting in normal mode. 1 is basically canceling the sound behind the subs. But not only that, but it also prevents reverb from bouncing off that back wall, and then suddenly now you have cancellation. Again, I'll do a video on that much later on, but that's in a nutshell what Cardioid does. So again, through, high profile or high pass filter post means that doesn't matter what kind of speakers you are using, and there are still a few speakers out there that don't have a high pass button. So this will prevent those speakers from overworking themselves or creating frequencies that this sub is already creating. Just really nice, easy to use, very plug and play. About as plug and play as any sub can get, but with enough features for even the most discerning of DJs. On top of the DXS18, we have our normal mount, so you can just mount the speaker directly on top. But if you want your speaker to really stay still and not move or spin around or, you know, vibrate, then you get one of the poles with the little, what's it called, with the threads on the end, and you can lock it in nice and tight. So again, you've got both options on there. And that's the Yamaha DXS18 subwoofer. Is loud, it's punchy, it sounds clean, really clean, unique design. If you happen to work at a bar, so many people drink, and some idiot whoops, this actual bandpass design is really nice because that way some idiot won't spill beer all over it. I know that sounds trivial, but I've had it happen to me before. So actually I do kind of like that. Again, DXS18 from Yamaha, you're not going to be disappointed with this sub. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name's Arnaldo Offerman. Now you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, tell your friends. Thank you guys so much for watching. Good night and God bless.